Next season is going to be Radko Gudas's last season, and Jackson LaCombe is about to take the reins in regards to the defense for Anaheim. That and much more on this episode of Locked On Anaheim Ducks.
You're Locked On Ducks, your daily podcast on the Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome, everydayer. Thank you for making Locked On Anaheim Ducks your first listen every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Kyle Carr. I'm a lifelong Anaheim Ducks fan, and I've spent multiple years covering collegiate sports, including college hockey. But today we are talking about the Anaheim Ducks. I've got some free agency breakdowns to talk about, and I'm telling you, the Ducks got to pick up Sam Bennett, and I'll tell you exactly why later. But then I also got to tell you about how Jackson LaCombe is about to take the reins for Anaheim when it comes to defensemen, and he will absolutely pop off for the Ducks. But first, we got to talk about how this is not this season, but the next season is going to be the last NHL season for Radko Gudas. I absolutely enjoyed having him as the Ducks captain and having him out here. The Gudas hip check is a complete mayhem causer out there. But looking at how the season has gone and how the end of the season went, and just looking over his career and how things are going, he's got 1 year left on his contract, and then he's going to be a UFA, and there's possibly an injury that's occurred, and he might be getting surgery. There's kind of some convoluted press about that. But let's look real quick at his numbers from this season, and then we'll get into just why he's going to be done after next season. So he played 81 games this year, had 1 goal and 15 assists, which is 16 points total. He was a +4 in the plus minus, 86 penalty minutes, 0 power play goals, 0 power play assist, nothing shorthanded, and he did not have any game winning or overtime goals. He had 89 shots this season with a shot percentage of 1.1%. But this is where he takes over. 261 hits, 178 blocked shots, 15 takeaways, and 104 giveaways. Yeesh. And a time on ice average of game played at 19 minutes and 52 seconds. After the Four Nations break, Gudas kind of slid down. He had a lot of there was a lot of success, and he was playing really well at the beginning of the season. But towards the end and after that Four Nations break, he only had 4 points, and I think he came out of there at +2, maybe -2. I did the math. I don't have it written down here in front of me, but he just kind of teetered off there towards the end, and it just seemed like his timing started to get off. Like, he'd try to line them up for the big Gudas hip check, and he would completely miss or just be behind a step or two and basically leave the ice open for the rest of the opponent's forwards. There was a few times where he'd either be completely out of position, just lost out in the sauce, or he would dive down early, and it would just cause either a goal for or some good offensive zone time for the opponent. And it really was upsetting watching that end of that year. Like, I felt like he had a very strong season up until that point, and he was playing well, but yet there was just something going on. And thank goodness for Jackson LaCombe. We'll get into that when I talk about him, but there was so many moments that Jackson kind of just bailed out Gudas, and there was this weird press release towards that end of the year on April 4th. The Czechia national team came out and said, like, hey, Gudas is not going to be playing for us in the 2025 Worlds because he's going to be undergoing surgery. And some Ducks fans and report, like, everyone was kind of like, well, if he has an injury and he's got to get surgery, like, that could explain a little bit of why he's teetered off and he's been struggling a little bit. But then the Anaheim Ducks come out and they say, no, that's not true. He's fine. There's no surgery happening in the offseason. Everything's great. Like, he's perfect. No problems here. Look the other way, kind of thing. And I've seen, even since then, I've seen reporting coming out of people from Czechia, whether they're fans, whether they're reporters, whatever. Like, there's different aspects of the hockey world coming out and saying, look, everyone in Czechia, you could walk down the street and run into a mother or an old grandma or something and ask them, what's Radko Gudas doing right now? And they'd say, oh, getting surgery. So apparently it's very well known in Czechia that he is undergoing surgery. He is not playing in the Worlds right now. He was not home. Well, he was not here for the Joel Quenneville announcement. Granted, they are back in Czechia. It's kind of a trip to have to make, but what is going on with the surgery or the not surgery? I wish I had a better answer for you. There's been nothing officially announced since then. I have not been able to find anything, but if he is going under surgery and he did have an injury, it is extremely hard for players to come back from surgery, especially if it's a lower body injury or something that has to do with his lower body, whether it's knee, ankle, something like that. Those are very, very hard for players to come back. The rehab time is very long, and then getting back in the NHL rhythm, being able to be strong on it, it takes a bit out of that player, and it's just going to, at his age, it's going to be a lot tougher for him to work back. Granted, we have players like Gabriel Landeskog that just came back after a crazy surgery and being out for multiple years. You got talks about Jonathan Toews trying to come back. A lot of these older players that have been doing it for years, they are completely changing the way we look at how injuries happen and surgeries happen and their ability to come back and play at the NHL level. But looking at his career, he's at 13 seasons right now. If he plays next year, that'll be 14 seasons. That is a fantastic career, especially with someone that plays as physical as Gudas. He's going to be playing with Joel Quenneville as the coach, who he's played for before when he was in Florida. It's just like one of those, it's like all the ball came, like everything came together, and just, I see this beautiful, like, right out into the sunset after a great season, helping these Ducks get into the postseason next year, and just, stepping away, help go raising his daughter, like just being a family guy now and heading out to Czechia. He just came out with a book. It's called Goody. And it's out he did a book signing recently. It's out in Czechia right now. I'm not sure when or if it's going to be coming over into an English version. I assume it will. But who writes a book when they expect to play for much, much longer? Like, that just, for me, it tells me that he's kind of preparing for that next step in life, and that, like, the hockey time is coming to an end. I loved his character, the way he was out here with fans. He's a great guy, he's great personality. If he does stay, it would be awesome, but he only has this 1 year left on his contract. And then after that, he's an unrestricted free agent. So he could go sign anywhere he wants, or he could just sail into the sunset, right away, and just enjoy the career that he had. I obviously probably want to be getting another cup with the Anaheim Ducks. Everyone wants to get the Stanley Cup in their career, and it would be awesome if we could get that. But everything that I'm seeing, and just the way that the kind of, not downfall, it was just like subtle things that just were not the typical Gudis style of play, like the reliable, responsible, like tough defenseman that he was, with the timing of his hits, the timing of his play. it just seemed to fall apart towards the end of the season. And now, if he is getting surgery, that's very convoluted. Kind of interesting that the Ducks are saying no, but Czechia is saying yes. And there's all these things lining up. And I absolutely would not be upset if this was his last season next year. I think he's had a very successful career. And I'm extremely proud that we get to call Radko Gudas an Anaheim Duck. The one thing that, in regards to his grades, with offense, I want to give him a B, and with defense, a B, and overall a B. There, the beginning of the season was very strong. He had an awesome. He led the team in hits. He led the team in block shots. So obviously, he's playing tough defense. But that end of the season, the amount of turnovers, the amount of just missed plays, lost possession, breakaways, like just being totally out of position, that had to ding down his grade a bit, but nothing bad. Not a bad season. He wasn't terrible. He wasn't great. That's why just a nice solid B for Radko Gudas, the captain this year. Someone that I definitely will be giving much higher than a A or a B is Jackson LaCombe, and this player, Jackson, he has completely cemented himself as the man who will lead the Ducks into the playoffs next season or in the near future, and we'll get into that coming up. Are you looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. I just got home from a beer league game, and the first thing that I did was crack open a bag of the no shell variety of Wonderful Pistachios and munch some down because boy was I smoked after tonight's game. It's been a minute since I've played, and just getting those legs back. Wonderful Pistachios helps give me that protein and the unsaturated fats, the fiber. It just keeps my body going. So get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. So I'm telling you right now, Jackson LaCombe is going to lead the Ducks into the playoffs. He will throw the team on his back and lead the charge to get Anaheim into the playoffs. He had an extremely explosive year this season as a sophomore, technically a full sophomore season for him. Absolutely outstanding play. Let's look at the numbers and then we'll just dive into how this kid will absolutely lead the Ducks into the postseason next year. Or if unfortunately, if it's not next year, it will be the year after. He has 75 games played this year, 14 goals, 29 assists with 43 points total. He had a 0 in the plus minus column, 28 penalty minutes, 2 power play goals, 7 power play assists, 0 shorthanded goals, 1 shorthanded assist, 2 game-winning goals, but none of them were in overtime. 134 shots. He had a shot percentage of 10.4, 69 hits, 129 blocked shots, 35 takeaways, 78 giveaways, and a total on ice average game played at 22 minutes and 18 seconds. Jackson, he was absolutely by far the best defenseman for Anaheim this season. The way he just completely took off from last year, like he had sparks and you could kind of see like, oh, this guy's pretty good. I don't know what happened in the offseason or what he did this year, but all of a sudden he exploded and showed just how dominant of a defenseman he can be. And there's still another level to his game. He was the leader on takeaways this year for the Anaheim Ducks. And I'm pretty sure half of those were just making up for Radko Gudas's turnovers, but the ability for him to angle off players, his calm demeanor when it's down low, and if it's behind the net or on the red line, like anytime it's in the defensive zone, he is playing heads up, smart hockey. His positioning is so sound. He has this like sixth sense about where to be and how to shut down the offense for the opponent. Is that like most players when they go into a second season, they're gonna have a sophomore slump. We talked about that with Minchikov last episode, but he didn't have a sophomore slump. He had a sophomore spaceship. Like he just launched into orbit and had a complete breakout season. And there's more to come from his game. Speaking of breakout season, he is legitimately a one-man breakout. His ability to take possession of the puck and completely take it down the ice, join the rush all by himself. He's got that kind of Cale Makar-esque play where he just has the speed, he has the edge work, and he has the hands and visibility to completely take over a play and a shift and hem the opponents into their zone. Love the way that he plays. His heads up style is amazing. His angling, you can see he didn't have as many hits as Gudas, but he didn't even really need to make those types of hits because he's already beaten him to the 50-50 puck, or he's already angled off the player, or he's shut down the 2-on-1. That's one thing I really noticed about him too, is if there's a turnover or the puck pops out of the offensive zone and all of a sudden there's like an odd man rush coming back towards Anaheim, his ability to back check and completely shut down an on-man rush is superb. There were so many times where you're like, oh, great. Here we go, 2-on-1. And here comes Jackson LaCombe just tanking down the ice, breaks up the play, gets it back up to the forwards up in the neutral zone. And it's like, what was I even worried about? Like, what just happened? And it was multiple times when he would do this. And then when it comes to being in the offensive zone, obviously he was up there in the top unit for the power play this year. His ability to walk the line, his ability to join the rush. He's got a great shot. He's got great visibility. His hands are slick. He's almost like a two-way forward and a two-way defenseman when he really wants to be. And he just has a great vision. And it's kind of shocking to me that he did have such a great breakout season while Greg Cronin was behind the bench. The goaltending absolutely saved Anaheim this year. I've seen reports and I've listened to interviews of Greg Cronin. He's kind of trying to say like he's an analytics guy and he took the team and he did all this stuff. But if you really look at the analytics and the numbers, it was the goaltenders that absolutely saved his neck this season. And beyond the goaltenders, there was Jackson LaCombe. This was like he was basically that second goaltender out there on the ice whenever he was out there, and had the ability to shut down top line forwards. I saw him battling against McDavid, Draisaitl. He's out there playing against Kachuk. He's playing against Marchand. All these guys that are in the playoffs right now, Jackson LaCombe was right there with them, unafraid, completely shutting them down or just going at it, fearlessly. He has this ability to just change a game. And that's only his sophomore season. Like, take that and just chew on that for a minute. This is his technically he's played for the Ducks in 3 seasons, but that first year it was only a couple of games. Last year was pretty much similar in the number of games played. I think it was about 72. And this year, 75 games played. So next year, he's had these 2 seasons. He had this breakout season. He really knows how to play the puck now. He really knows how to play at the NHL pace. So he's going to have not only that experience, but now we're getting this coach of Joel Quenneville who knows how to take care of the defensemen. He knows how to build off of their talents and create offense off of them. So the Norris candidate that we will see out of Jackson LaCombe could be possibly next year or within the next 2-3 seasons. This is the Ducks are so set on the back end right now, and we haven't even talked about the guys coming up in the pipeline. Ian Moore, Stein Solberg. There's so many guys on the defensive back end for Anaheim that can completely change the game. But Jackson LaCombe, he is the one that's going to put the team on his back and carry the Anaheim Ducks into the playoffs and the postseason. And someone that I see being able to keep up and really take on the playoff style of hockey is Jackson LaCombe. Like, he's not the most physical, but his ability to absorb hits and to stay calm and stay collected, and his gap protection, his angling, all of that, those little details that are, yeah, they're important in the regular season, but they become so much more important in the postseason. And that is exactly what I'm expecting out of Jackson LaCombe when the Ducks do enter the postseason. He's going to be able to do all those great little things and carry it forward into the postseason and do well and have success. And it's just a very exciting time, uh, really, just to be a Ducks fan, to be supporting the Ducks, or really just to watch their games. And if you like watching good defensive players out there, the Ducks are the place to watch. Like, if you want to see some young core coming up, tune into Anaheim Ducks games next year, and you're going to be absolutely blown away with how this team's going to take care of things next year, all behind the back of Jackson LaCombe. Now, looking at some other things that could change with Anaheim, yes, we've got the good defensemen, we've got these good young players, we've got this new coach coming in. What the Ducks need, though, is to really make a smart decision on free agency. And I'm telling you, everyone, I've been hearing the rumors about Mitch Marner, but I think the Ducks need to target Sam Bennett, and we'll get into that next. So free agency is going to be coming up soon. We got the draft coming up. We've got the signings for Mason McTavish and Lukas Dostal, which we know are going to happen. At least if they don't, I don't start ripping your hair out now. But next, after the draft and all of that, there's going to be the free agency talk. And the playoffs are going on right now. And some players that have been coming up that are in the playoffs currently that have been surrounding the Ducks rumor mill is Mitch Marner and Sam Bennett. And I'm telling you right now, Mitch Marner should not be on the Anaheim Ducks. The Ducks do not need a player like Mitch Marner. They need a player like Sam Bennett. Yes, Mitch Marner can put pucks into the net during the regular season. He's a goal scorer. He's flashy. He's got all these characteristics, and he's out there in Toronto and back and forth. But so is Sam Bennett. Sam Bennett has been in this league for quite some time. He's got the experience, and he is a bona fide goal scorer, but he also knows how to play a strong physical game. He is an absolute menace. They call him Sam the Menace Bennett out there. And his ability to not only play well during the regular season, but then into the postseason is way above and beyond Mitch Marner. If you look at Mitch Marner, every time he's in the postseason, the headlines are full of where's Mitch Marner? What happened to Marner? Why is Marner not? Where the heck is he? Just recently in the last couple of games, he had a massive brain fart on making a play, chips it out, doesn't back check. He's not helping the D. There's all these issues that he has when it comes to playoff hockey. It's like something just shuts down, and the type of play that Anaheim's going to need to get into the postseason is going to have to be that playoff mentality throughout the regular season. They've got to have it turned on the whole time because they're building, they're fighting, they're clawing tooth and nail, or tooth and wing, whatever Ducks use to climb into things, that they're going to be fighting their way to try to get into the postseason. And yes, Mitch Marner can put goals up, whatever, but I don't think he needs the Ducks don't need that type of flashy personality anymore. They have plenty of that. They've got Trevor Zegras. They've got Cutter Goche. They've got Jackson LaCombe. Olin's out. There's other guys on the team that already are those flashy, great, skilled guys. They need someone that's going to come in and not only provide goal scoring, but provide physicality and a mentality that's going to help these guys understand what it actually takes to, one, win the Stanley Cup, and two, win more than one round in the playoffs, and know how to go deep into the playoffs, know how to get past those painful moments, how to get over the hump. These are the things that Sam Bennett brings to a team. You can see when he was in Calgary, there was great success with Calgary and when he was there, but then he comes over to Florida and completely brings his scoring prowess and his ability to Florida, and they end up winning the cup. Like, this is a type of player that you can see the difference that he makes on a roster and on a team. Mitch Marner's only been with Toronto for so long and hasn't played with any other team, and there's not really much to show for it. Like, other than his regular season success, what has happened in the postseason? Not a whole lot. And another issue, how much that price tag is for Mitch Marner versus the price tag for Sam Bennett. Sam Bennett's contract is almost not even half of what Mitch Marner's is. And with his success, yeah, he's probably going to be wanting a little bit more than where his contract is at now. It's at like 4 million AAV right now. Maybe give him 5.5. Mitch Marner's at like almost $12 million right now. And I guarantee he's not going to want to take a drop in pay. We could see how the negotiations went when he first got this contract. And I do not think he has lived up to the contract that he has. The lack of playoff success, the lack of strength, the lack of accountability that Mitch Marner has not lived up to that price tag. And the Ducks do not need to spend that much money on a player like Marner when they could go and spend nearly half as much money and get someone with way more success in the postseason, someone who's way more physical, has way more experience, and is able to really be a veteran that the Ducks need and will carry them through those hard moments in the regular season. And then when they do get to the postseason, will help carry them through the postseason as well. There's just so many more. Like, I look at the way Verbeek tries to build the team and his mentality and his style, and I really think that Sam Bennett fits that play style and that mentality and that type of, no BS mentality playing style. Whereas Mitch Marner, he's kind of another personality. He's another, I just kind of a press nightmare in a sense. And they've already got a press nightmare right now with this hiring of Coach Q. So do they really want to bring that over? Do they want to bring that attention? I'm not sure. I just don't see it. I see a lot more success and accountability and just an overall locker room attitude changing type player is going to be Sam Bennett. And you've already got guys like Frank Vetrano, Ryan Strome, Alex Killorn that are in that, Radko Gudas. Those are big, rough, and tough guys. You bring a guy like Sam Bennett over to join in with that veteran club who can set the example even more so for these young cats coming up. Like, if you take some of the, like, Sam Colangelo, Cutter Goche, Nikita Nesterenko, those types of young moldable players, and you bring a guy like Sam Bennett that shows them how to go fight through every single minute that you're on the ice, it can only help the Ducks out that much more than someone that's like Mitch Marner that kind of meeps and mopes and has his ups and downs, but just doesn't seem to really take accountability for himself. And that's why I'm saying Sam Bennett to the Ducks in free agency. There's so much more to talk about, and that's what I love about the offseason. We get to come up with these ideas, talk about these ideas, and really just wait and see how things go. But there's so many options and opportunities for Anaheim right now with the cap space coming up, with Samueli telling Pat Verbeek that the wallet is open with the new hiring of Coach Q. There's so many things that could go either really well or really bad for Anaheim. And that's what I'm here to talk about. So if there's anything that you want to ask, or if there's any kind of rumors you want to talk about, or things that you want to cover, post history, whatever it is, if there's anything you want to talk about, go check out Car Talk Sports. So if you look at my last name, it's spelled KJER, talksports.com. There's a form there you can fill out. It'll connect with me, and it says connect with Locked On Ducks, and send me any of your questions, any of your ideas, any of your concepts, and we'll get them on the show. I'm probably going to be starting to do a mailbag segment as we get deeper into the postseason, just to get more of the fans engaged and really see what you guys are feeling and thinking about in regards to the Anaheim Ducks and their postseason. So please go check that out. That's KJER talksports.com, and you'll see the connect page there. But also, thank you for making Locked On Anaheim Ducks your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On NHL Game Night. Every game, every night until a Stanley Cup champion is crowned. You can find NHL Game Night on Locked On NHL on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. And that's also where you can find Locked On Ducks. Make sure you go like and subscribe to the YouTube and keep listening and tune in. My name is Kyle Carr. Be good out there.